is Mr. Daniel Buala. He's a lawyer and a member of the APC. The last time he was on this program, he was talking about the way he thinks things should go. But it does look like that pattern of conversation or advice was followed, and he looked now like a prophet. He joins me in our Abuja studio, as well as Honorable Sadiq Fakai. Is a member of the NEC and is the APC youth leader, Northwest. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming tonight. Let me begin with you, Honorable Fakai. You are one of those who are asking that the party should convoke an emergency NEC meeting. This was the fears a lot of people had earlier, a few months ago, and they thought that this was targeted at removing Adams Oshiomhole.
Well, it's okay. I can say the party, the APC as a party has constitution that is guiding the party. And I believe since when we come on board, the party has only NEC meeting twice, which by the constitution of the party, the NEC meeting should be held after 3 months. And why constitution stated that the NEC meetings of the party should be holding is by doing the NEC meeting, that will give opportunities for the leaders to checkmate and view the performance or any other challenges that is affecting the party, so that at least with that can be addressed and the party can move forward. But failure to convey the NEC meeting, I so much believe that is what gave the room for all this crisis that is coming within the party. And I so much believe if the leadership of the National Working Committee or the leadership of the caucus by the Mr. President, when they agree, we pray by calling the National Executive Committee meeting, most of the burning issue within the party will be addressed. Thank you.
Well, you think that as it stands right now, that same fear is not re-echoing again, that calling for an emergency NEC meeting is targeted at removing Oshiomhole. Is that also is that also behind your mind now? Are you thinking about that too?
Well, as I said earlier, the party has constitution, and it's stated clear in the party constitution that the NEC meeting should be held in 3 months. That is quarterly. So I think when the constitution is coming, I believe during that time, it's not Adam Oshiomhole that is the national chairman of the party. Someone is there before him. Now he is here. I think what I only insisted, not issue of removing Oshiomhole or any other person, nobody is talking about that. The avenue of having the NEC meeting, that is the only avenue that can give the party opportunity to address most of the problems, or even without the problems, the development that the party has, the challenges are looking for the way forward. So issue of removing Adam Oshiomhole or not Adam Oshiomhole is not what is making the party to call for a NEC meeting. It's there in the constitution and it's binded, and the good thing is that let the leaders do the right thing so that will give room for addressing most of the problems of the party.
Mr. Buala, let me put the same question to you. You spoke about what Mr. Oshiomhole is facing right now, the issues in the courts and those who are opposing him, and what we have seen. So today, for example, from Rivers State, some leaders of the party said they've suspended Mr. Victor Giadom. Well, so where does this leave Mr. Oshiomhole? Because the fear that his removal might be raised at the emergency NEC meeting. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, 2 issues you raised at the moment. The first one is in relation to the status of Comrade Oshiomhole. If you look at the multiple suits in the court and the recent steps taken by his ward executive to have him recalled, I think that his status, both in law, equity, and fact, is that he stands returned. All he needs is the same way you enter your car and drive to the office and resume, because suspension was the premise on which he was kept out of office. And the said suspension has been overruled or taken out or lifted by the same ward executive. So by law, his status at the moment is the national chairman and not a suspended national chairman. In any case,
just a moment. Sorry, who is the real chairman of Mr. Shomale's ward, Ward 10 in Esako. Because we heard some people in Abuja saying he's been reinstated. Another person said he's not reinstated, it's fake news. So we get to it as if we're able to sort out those footage. But that's what I wanted to show our viewers tonight so that they can have an understanding of what is happening. If that is a premise in which you're talking, do you think that that can stand?
Yes, I think that for the purposes of your viewers, you can play that, but I've seen the pictures of the motion picture. You see, the purported, or rather the ward executive, the chairman of the ward executive that is alleging that they have not lifted the suspension. First is the chairman of the executive, not even executive, the chairman of the faction that was expelled by the ward executive. But assuming you are not even raising an issue from it, that man that spoke had the people he called his executive, all of whom have moved to PDP. He was asked to stay behind to create enough problems for APC in that place. So let's take it assuming without considering that he's the chairman. Can one man constitute the executive? Our constitution does not support that. There is no constitution, including the constitution of the party they are moving to, does not support a one man constituting himself as an executive. So if a king does not have a kingdom and does not have a people, he's not a king. And that is the fact. But you see, the legality of whatever he said or did is being challenged in the court. And that's not the path I'm going. In the eyes of the law, the executive that are remaining, the executive that are right now operating in that Esako local government, the executive of APC are the ones recognized by law and are the ones they have lifted the suspension. So there is no controversy, as it were. The man is standing alone. Let him come to the screen and show you. And the good thing that I like is that today we are seeing him because we are going to follow through and see his activities in PDP. And then we will contrast and see whether a person in the eyes of the law can belong to two political parties, engage in activities of two political parties for the purposes of election or for the purposes of political association. That, at the end of the day, is going to indict the person that he is projecting as a flag bearer or ticket bearer of the party that he has gone to. But when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. As it stands today, Adams Oshomole is the national chairman. The suspension has been lifted. But you see, the decision is still up to him and to the National Working Committee. I'm just giving you my opinion as a member of the party and as a private citizen that based on the procedure that has been followed, there is no legal impediment that should stop him from walking into the office and performing the duties of the National
Sabwala, quickly, Mr. Sabwala, you heard those two sound bites of those who said he stand reinstated and the other one who said no, he still stands suspended. Just in 30 seconds, if you can respond so that we can hear from Honorable Fakai.
Even on the evidence of logic and common sense, anybody who sees these two pictures can arrive at a conclusion. The first one, they came to the National Working Committee, National Secretariat, and there were more than 15 in number seated, and one was addressing the established body. But in the other picture, you find one man and two people standing behind him like security agents. And he said that is the entire committee. Can three people constitute the committee? In one picture, you have more than 15 to 16 people seated before established body of the party to say, this is our resolution, this is our situation. In one, you see, even from your picture, you caught up with him somewhere at night, and you see him standing with two people by his side like security officers. Even on the evidence of logic, can't that send a message to you?
So, Mr. Boala, as it stands right now, do you fear that if the emergency NEC meeting is convoked today, the issue of the removal of Adam Shoshomole could be raised?
You see, I've been trying to reserve my comment regarding this NEC. If you look at strict provision, if you look at our constitution strictly, there are procedures. Even if you're conceiving the thought and the idea of removing him, there are procedures to follow. For example, the constitution recognizes fair hearing not as dictated by our constitution, but dictated by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the doctrine of fair hearing is that you will notify whoever you want to take a step against, give him time. And our Constitution has always emphasized 7-day notice. He should study the particulars of why you want to remove him. He will come before the committee that wants to remove him. He will put up a case. And if they find that the case is not worthy, then they can take a decision. You see, these stages cannot happen in one event or in two sittings of the committee of the NEC. And secondly, there are people who are calling for NEC meeting to resolve the problem. If you have studied our constitution very well, the body established with the responsibility of reconciliation, managing the conscience of the party and the rest, are the board of trustees that run through the entire party. And they don't need an emergency meeting to do this function of reconciliation and meeting the people. NEC merely meet to ratify decisions, to take drastic decisions in the party for the overall interest of the good of the party. So when people are calling for NEC because they want to remove somebody, they are misplacing the priority that is contained in the Constitution.
So you are saying, in essence, so Mr. Bwala, so in summary, yeah, so Mr. Bwala, in essence, you're saying there's no need for a NEC meeting.
There has to have a basis for the meeting. What are they going to meet? If it is because of the multiple crises in court, can you meet without the decisions of court?
So I know Mr. Fakai does not agree with that. Mr. Fakai, how do you react to what Mr. Bwala has said, that there's no basis for the emergency NEC meeting you're calling for?
Well, in my own view, I have contrary opinion to Mr. Bwala. The reason is the party has a constitution that stated that quarterly the NEC meeting should be called. The NEC meeting, the importance of calling the NEC meeting is to give avenue for the national officers to address problem of the party. Neither there is issue or there is no issue. There is requirement by the constitution the NEC meeting should be held quarterly. So issue of calling for the NEC meeting either to remove somebody or not to remove somebody or the constitutional. Already the NEC are the strong organ, are the #1 organ of the party. And talking about the board of trustees thinking that, I don't know, maybe he's not aware that the party, since one is come on board, it has not constituted the BOT. So if they say we have the BOT as the party, I believe that will relieve most of the tension. That can be part of the thing that will checkmate. But by the constitution of the APC, the higher body of the APC that can checkmate everything now is the NEC. And whatever the National Working Committee are doing, they cannot do it and take decision 100% without taking it to the NEC for rectification. The position of the constitution of the party is NEC should be held quarterly. And I think it's right time, since when we come on board for 2 years now, the NEC has only held in twice. And there is need for an emergency NEC meeting to address most of the crisis of the party. And that solve internal issue when you come together as a member. And the only avenue is by convening the NEC meeting.
Honorable Fakai, are you also one of those who view these crises in your party as such that if, for example, because I've heard this from some of, it's been out there, that some people are saying, if Mr. Oshomole step aside, you might be able to resolve the crisis. Do you hold that view too?
Well, issue of Mr. Oshomole or not Mr. Oshomole, the party is guided by the Constitution. Anybody that is here can govern the party. Now, court has suspended Oshomole. Somebody is here acting on his behalf, and the activities of the party has continued.
Not acting on his behalf.
Somebody is acting at his own capacity as the deputy national chairman, because what the Constitution says in Section 14, Section 9, in the absence of the national chairman, the deputy national chairman, we have 2 deputy national chairmen, north and south. The deputy national chairman from the national chairman zone should act on his behalf. Now, in the Constitution, the deputy national chairman is acting on his behalf, and nothing stopped from the party activities, as you can see. So issue of being in the opinion of either Oshomole should step aside so that the party activities, as far as a NEC member, my responsibility coming from being a national officer and being the national leader of the APC in charge of Northwest, Oshomole being around or Oshomole not being around, that doesn't distract me from doing my primary responsibility. Constitution has defined any of the executive officer his responsibility.
Let's conclude this conversation.
I think that is not the case.
Yeah, let's conclude this conversation. And I'll ask Mr. Bwala a similar question, is the fact that how important is President Buhari's intervention? How important will it be in this matter? Has a crisis gotten to that point that if President Buhari does not intervene, your crisis in a big quagmire?
I think so, President. The quest and request for the president's intervention is long overdue. I mean, it was ready since yesterday. And because of high degree of respect that party members have for the president, if the president sits with the parties, the respective parties, they will definitely listen to him. But don't forget that the president made concerted effort from the press release we got from Femi Adesina, that the president actually made the effort in Edo State to reconcile parties. But we can all see that the governor was not ready. And that was why he went and obtained 5 different orders from court to stop every person from making effort to reconcile. He got order against the Governors Forum. He got order against the National Assembly Senate. He got order against the House of Reps. He got orders against individuals. So nobody could. In fact, let me tell you, Sean, if we look at the strict application of order and respect to the constituted authority and orders of court, by now, I mean, as today, the Senate, House of Reps, Governors Forum, and all the people that he got orders against cannot intervene in the matter. The only good thing for us is that he ceased to be a member of the party. So that order now is in inquiry. But when they talk about calling for NEC meeting is ratified. How do you begin to ratify? The judgment of court, decision of the party. Don't forget that NWC by our constitution are carrying out the instructions and some of the directive of the NEC. When they see to a day-to-day responsibility that they carry out, most of which are the instructions of the NEC members.
All right.
So there has to have a basis.
Let me get Mr. Fakai. Mr. Fakai will lead us to the end of the program. So in few seconds, Mr. Fakai, do you hold the same view as Mr. Bwala in regards of president's intervention in this matter?
No. I think the president is the leader of the party. And in any case, if there is any issue in your house, you should intervene and address it. A lot of Nigerians have so much respect for the president, and the president is the leader of the party, and his intervention is needed at this particular time. Because we need this party as a member of NEC, and we need his intervention. And I believe by convening the NEC meeting, that will address the issue. And in responding, just taking part of what he has said, issue of the National Working Committee acting on behalf of the NEC. In the Constitution, there is no that provision. The provision of the role of the National Working Committee is to handle the day-and-day activities of the party, as in more of operational activities of the party. Major decisions have to go to the NEC for ratification before taking any decision.
All right.
So, and most of the activities now, I think when the Constitution tells you this, and we are in a country that we respect law, we should be guided by that same Constitution. That's why in most of those cases, people are running to court, trying to get court intervention.
Mr. Honorable Sadiq Fakai, member of APC, NEC, and also Mr. Daniel Bwala. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your interventions tonight, and we wish you and your party the best.